to day 6, and I'm Cindy and this is Joan. And the story today is about a lovely rainbow cloak, and it's actually about the dreamer who saved the world, and it's the story of Joseph. Abraham had a son named Isaac, and Isaac had a son named Jacob, and Jacob had 12 sons, and Joseph was Jacob's favourite son. You might think that it's a bad idea for a dad to have a favourite. Well, you'd be right. Jacob treated Joseph better than the other brothers, giving him more presents all the time, and his favourite present was a fancy rainbow cloak. Everyone who saw it knew that Joseph was the favourite, and it made Joseph feel special. But it made Joseph's brothers jealous and angry. And on top of that, God had given special dreams to Joseph about how he would be in charge one day. That made Joseph's brothers even more jealous, and they started to hate Joseph. And one day they decided to put an end to Joseph, his dreams, and his rainbow cloak. Joseph's brothers attacked him, tore off his robe, and sold him as a servant. Then they lied to their father, telling him that Joseph was dead. Meanwhile, Joseph was taken all the way to Egypt, where he became a slave. But things got worse. Joseph was blamed for something that he didn't do, and he was thrown into prison. Then it got worse again. God used a dream to tell Joseph that one of his fellow prisoners was about to be freed. But as soon as he got out, that prisoner forgot all about Joseph. For years Joseph sat in prison alone, except that he wasn't alone. God was with Joseph, even when it was hard, even when his brothers sold him, even when he was thrown into prison, even when he was forgotten. God had not forgotten him. God was with him the whole time. In fact, God was going to use Joseph to save his family. God was going to use Joseph to save the world.
God gave the king of Egypt a confusing and scary dream, and one of his servants, this very same guy who had been in prison with Joseph, suddenly said, "Wait, I know a guy who is good with dreams." Joseph explained the dream to the king, that there would be a famine and people wouldn't have enough food, and the king put Joseph in charge. Joseph became a prince. The famine was so bad that back home, Joseph's brothers were starving. So they travelled to Egypt to buy food. And wouldn't you know it, they came and knelt before Joseph, not even recognising him. Joseph couldn't help from crying, he was so happy. "Brothers," he said, "come closer. Don't you see, it's me, Joseph. I know you're scared, but you don't have to be. You wanted to hurt me, but God had other plans, good ones even. You thought I was gone and alone, but God was with me the whole time. He sent me here to Egypt to save all of us." Joseph and his brothers rejoiced because God had saved all of them. And together they moved to Egypt. Their family grew, and Joseph got older. Just before Joseph died, he told his family, "God has been faithful to us and saved us. But Egypt is not our home. Promise me that our children and our children's children won't stay here, but will follow God." Sadly, they didn't. They stayed in Egypt, and the longer they stayed, the further away God seemed. Because they stayed in Egypt, God felt far away. So all of Joseph's children began to hope and to pray, "God, will you come back to stay?" And that was today's story about the colourful robe, and the letter is you.
Bye everyone.
Bye.